Thank you so much for inviting me. So I am a brand and event photographer. Clearly, event photography is not quite the thing to do at the moment. I love photographing people and inspirational people especially. And something hit me when we were all in lockdown one. Something really hit me. Lockdown, I think, gave a lot of people, aside from key workers, an opportunity to sort of look and take stock of what they've got, what they have, and what they need to organise. And I went through a lot of old photos that are, just sorting them out, and it was a lot of fun. And I came across some artwork I did. So about 20 years ago, I got involved in art and healthcare. I really wanted to see hospital spaces looking beautiful because I had to visit my family members and so forth. And I just thought, oh, how can you thrive in a space like this? How can people work here thrive? So I got involved in art and healthcare. And I came across artwork that I did, and some of them are portraits of NHS workers. And there was that backdrop of us applauding for NHS workers, and the idea came from that. Initially, like the portraits I took 20 years ago were, hospital workers in their uniform, and it just made more sense to connect with a human story. I mean, what I was envisaging was almost, healthcare workers almost trapped in their uniform daily in their PPE, which they still are now. And I just wanted them to have a break from that, and to have a nurturing portrait session from a portrait photographer. So initially, in my head, it was like, oh, I'd like to take some photos. And then I thought maybe there's other photographers that feel the same way. And yes, there are plenty of photos with the mask. Plenty of photographs with PP. We see that, we get that, and we get that is important. But I felt what was important was the human story. It started with a Facebook Live. And I knew if I didn't push that voice out there at that moment, it's quite likely that it would have just drizzled into nothing. Fellow photographers of mine were like, oh my God, it's amazing. And then like, I'm going to share it in this group. I'm going to share it in that group. I'm going to share it in this group. I'm going to share it in that group. So I had like hundreds of photographers come on board. And it was like June and July for me were so overwhelming with inquiries. It was incredible. Photographers wanted to do something. They wanted to be part of something important, and they wanted to have something to keep their minds occupied at a time that it was like, well, what are we going to do? That weekend was the best time that it could have been, I think. And so it was very exciting to unbox these portraits. They did such an incredible job. We had projection on the wall, and it looked great. It looked really, really great, and it was really wonderful to see people flow in. We had to have it by invitation only because obviously we couldn't have more than a certain amount of people in the room. I'd already promised the people who couldn't make the exhibition in September, I'd promised, don't worry, I'll put something up online and put a gallery up and so you can all have a look. And the idea in my head was, that just the people who participated can have a look, so that they can at least see, the exhibition. And then as it got more aggressive with this pandemic, I thought, my God, I've definitely got to do this. But I really want to do this with, for anybody to see, should they want to get inspired or just know that they're these incredible people. I believe it gave people something here that they needed. But one thing that came up was, this is about the NHS workers and this is about healthcare workers primarily. But as a secondary thing and a secondary factor that has come up for me is, this project would be nothing without the visual storyteller. It would be nothing without that creator. I wouldn't be here talking to you if it wasn't for others who shared the vision. And those people that shared the vision, they're incredible storytellers. So in November, I started these blog posts and featuring healthcare workers, but I also wanted to hear from the photographers and their perspective, because, you know, each one took that time out and they really thought about the human connection. They really thought about how it is that they're going to photograph that person. Another photographer, Catherine Chapman, she was saying it's like a Venn diagram of visibility. So this is about visibility and this is about healthcare workers. But we've also got photographers who sometimes are a bit invisible. You know, they're not allowed to say, hey, you know, they're supposed to be in the background and silenced. And I don't quite agree with that. I want to shout out about these photographers. So each month I am shouting out not just about the healthcare workers, but also about the photographer that took part. Anyone can go out and take a photograph. Anyone can. Anyone can. But you get a photographer, or even an amateur photographer, you get a photographer and they will put magic in. They will put a magic in that somebody else wouldn't be able to do. And that has to be validated as far as I'm concerned.